Jetzt wär's das hinaus.
Welcome, my name is Marco Müller. I'm working for the global product marketing in football footwear. Very exciting job. I'm an active football player, playing in football now already over 30 years. So very keen to be part of the football family. Being part of football is a great experience. Well, it's a good question, but I think that question we raised ourselves already in 2008, 2010. A key fact is that football develops over the last few years very, very fast. And what we've recognized, there are three key players on the market. We know there's a speed player, which we cover with a 50. There's one predator player who's looking for the absolute control. And there's one classy player we know with Adipure. But doing an analysis with federation, teams, professional players, we recognize that there's a fourth player, and we call him the engine. He's really a very energetic player. He's looking for 90 minutes, never stops, never gives up. He's really looking for this endless game. And a great example is like Javi Martinez from Bayern Munich. As briefly touched, it's a quite long process. So with our analysis and with the coaches, we started around 2008, 2009 to get really the insights about football, what is needed, what is the latest needs. But then the development of the product started then by 2010, 2011, which is in total, we had like a 2 years development period of the product. As briefly touched, football is developing. If you see the great teams or Champions League semi-finals right now, you have Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona and Dortmund. And if you really analyze the teams, you see there's this fourth player type, the engine, the energetic player. And that was the reason to say, well, we really want to deliver the right product to that player. He really deserves a product which supports his performance. And our idea was to make the athlete better. And that was the reason to say, well, let's move forward with Nitrocharge, a new silo, a new player type. The boot in general is for the energetic player. A key element, as briefly mentioned, is the yellow stripe. We call it energy sling. Why is it so important? Analyzing the player type, how he behaves, how he acts on the pitch. You see he's doing a lot of cuts, a lot of turns. He never gives up. He goes left and right. So just taking experience and talking to players, they showed us just their old samples. And what happens if you do a lot of turns, a lot of cuts, you see there's a very high stress in this area. And our idea was, well, we really need to support that area so that he can do all the cuts, turns, and be very aggressive on the pitch. So the idea was the yellow stripe supports it. But then on the other side, even to give him a little bit of energy through having it as an elastic element. So what you can see, the band is quite elastic and really adds additional energy to the player.
Okay.
The main part is definitely the energy sling on the one side for all the turns and cuts. But what is also very important is the energy pulse. Because we talk about that player, he's going for the extra mile. He's really going to the 12, 13 km per game. And what you can see here, the energy sling, it's like an additional spring. So it really helps the player to give additional energy. That's a very important part in terms of performance enhancement. But even so, if we talk about the player himself, how he acts, how he behaves, he's a quite masculine player. He never gives up. And that's why we say we have here protection pads in the heel, but then also protection pads in the forefoot to really protect the player in any tackling and be the stronger player. We have great examples. Javi Martinez is one great example. Dani Alves is another example from Barcelona. Marcelo is also a very strong, aggressive player. If we talk about the Italian league, De Rossi is a great example. Or You can even find strikers who are never stopping and really looking for the endless game. It's a quite interesting job. It's a huge variety of parts what we try to cover. Now, on the one side, a key message for us and vision is to be as close as possible to the athlete. So we're always looking to get in touch with our best players, being Messi, being Javi Martinez, being even like Beckham, being Zidane, taking advantage of their experience, but of course also looking to all the young players. It's very important to get the understanding what are the needs of the players. Yes, a very big area what we always try to cover is the market himself. It's not only about the professional players, but it's also about you and me. We want to cover all the needs of every consumer. Another part is definitely always looking for the next models, next needs, what is desired. We know that the world is quite fast changing, and there's always a need for new stuff, new colors, new experiences. And that's like a very different area we are in touch with to really offer the best products. That was a very, very great experience. Honestly speaking, at that time, I was the responsible developer working in the development team. It is one of the greatest innovations we've ever launched. It took us a very aggressive 2.5 years plan to develop a 50 AD0 with a key target and to have the lightest boot on the product. And here again, once more, we worked very closely with our athletes to get an understanding what is the absolutely minimum we can achieve in terms of weight, but yet offering a high performance boot in terms of stability, protection, great experience. And as I said, I worked as a developer at that time. And it was really interesting also to work with suppliers to find the most innovative materials to manage such great product. Sprint frame is definitely the magic weapon which enabled us to get the lightest product. In former days we had a very traditional TPU outsole. It was 3.5 millimeter thick. We required an additional reinforcement to get the stability. And the magic with sprint frame was we could reduce the weight from around 120 grams of an outsole unit to only 60 grams. And that was a key magic to reduce the weight. Yes, of course. Again, like players are so important for us, and the guys are very interested also to work with us to give their input. We listen to them, and again, for us, it's not to deliver a product to them. We want to work with them and make them better, make them a better player. And that was exactly the inspiration we took up, get their points and say, well, you are really professional players. You know exactly what you need on your daily base. And that's what we took up to create the best products. The future, as we know, never stops, and that's why we're also looking again already for the next generations. We kicked off the first ideas for 2015. I'm right now once more back to a 50. I'm very keen to be part of that product right now as a marketing manager. And we know a 50 is our biggest silo. Speed is so important for football. And I'm very excited to see how we're gonna evolve speed in 2015. Un saludo a los followers de soloporteros.com desde Adidas, Alemania.